Florence, UNESCO World Heritage Site, World Capital of Culture, Cradle of the Renaissance, is what we call a museum city, abandoned to thousands of tourists in flip-flops, good only to be picked and plucked at. Tourists who mistake Palazzo Vecchio's stones for Disneyland's papier-mâché decorations. They are right to believe so because in the short-sighted vision of the city's public administrators, the objective to reach is exactly that, a Disneyland in which Florentine citizens should limit themselves to be simple bystanders and not a bothersome, annoying presence requesting services and public expenditures. In Florence, the cultural appreciation of the city's social fabric is totally lacking. The which doesn't mean, of course, a closure towards the external world, but rather an openness to new ideas and projects coming from all over the globe. Václav has been living in Florence for the last 5 years. He is a Czech artist who seems to have found himself in the right place at the right time to give the right contribution in the right direction. As soon as I arrived in Florence, I couldn't help but feel deep admiration for such artistic and cultural wealth. However, the absence of a vision for the cultural future of the city is a concrete aspect which soon makes itself evident. I live in a street next to the church of San Lorenzo, where there are the famous Medici chapels, and the first time I climbed up to the terrace above the roof of my house, I understood that I had a great opportunity before me. Looking northwest, a large section of the block is a part of the enormous Sant'Orsola area, with its enormous walls, bare and deteriorated, in the very historical center of Florence. A shocking sight for the tourist of Disneyland Florence. I thought it was an ideal situation for an art project. The Sant'Orsola Monumental Complex was founded in 1309 as a nunnery and a satellite of the San Lorenzo Church. It first gave hospitality to Benedictine and then to Franciscan nuns. In 2007, some studies were published according to which the mortal remains of Mona Lisa Gherardini, La Gioconda, painted by Leonardo da Vinci, are present in the ancient structure. After the Napoleonic suppression of the convent in 1810, the architect Silvestri changed the complex into a tobacco factory. In the 20th century, it served several functions, such as a hospice for the poor and later university offices, until its acquisition by the State Property Office, which has frozen it into a perpetual building site. Above the entrance of the convent, there is a stone crest, the iconography of which recalls the Benedictines' exorcists' symbolism, which means, in the name of the Holy Cross, reject the devil, and in the name of the observance of the cross, induce love. The phrase rejection of the devil refers to the scientific practices of Leonardo da Vinci, which were at that time considered heresy, even while the body of his preferred model probably was hidden beyond those walls. The idea to modify temporarily the urban space using the Sant'Orsola complex and at the same time to give artistic expression to the indignation of the local inhabitants towards so much waste of public money inspired in me the idea of using the $1 banknote, the most classic icon of economic power, as a base for the artistic endeavor. To create projects from the bottom up in a city as famous as Florence is not easy. The first part of my project was created on the roof next to my balcony where nobody could see me. I wanted to evaluate people's reaction to this type of provocation. As a next step, I hung on the wall of the ex-convent a coat with dollars overflowing from the pockets. The people's reaction was swift. The whole thing was immediately removed by the local city police. What might have appeared as a bad result was, for me, an excellent one, because it had attracted attention. Later on, in a completely illegal but definitely daring way, working for 3 days with the help of a 7-meter-long ladder, I was able to cover a large portion of the lower part of the wall of the ex-convent. But this was still just an attempt. In my mind, the result should have been different and certainly not achievable only with a ladder and a few fake dollars printed by a friend with a home printer. The purpose was to involve the local government administration. After over 1 year, and with the help of many people who had believed in my vision, I finally managed to create the conditions to realize the project. It was foreseen that the work would have been difficult, as it proved to be, but we completed the project with the precious help of the association Insieme per San Lorenzo. This time, it took us 10 days' work to complete the project, in spite of the organizational efforts. Many problems arose which, even if with a great deal of difficulty, we overcame brilliantly. Our hard work was amply repaid by the interest raised in the bystanders during the realization of the project. The dollars have been attached in such a way as to be able to sway in the wind, and in so doing to create variations of color, the sound of rustling, and shape mutations according to the various hours of the day. My method of conceiving a work of art is to create a refined but ephemeral structure in opposition to the Western dogma of perennial art. This art is intended to be an event which involves a vast public as an integral part of the entire operation and, in effect, co-author of the creative happening. The performance is born from the environment that surrounds me and carries a message of reconciliation with it through genteel, temporary inconveniences. I'm very happy about the result and about the interest of the local media, and I really hope that my work has been at least a small but decisive contribution towards reviving the Florentine cultural economy in a contemporary way that touches each and every citizen's heart and mind.